Hello, I'm Bruce Wright, the co-founder of William Wright Academy and the founder of Wright Group International. So over the last 5 years, I've been knocking on doors for literally 6 days a week, selling products and services over the door. Now, from the last 5 years, there's one key thing that has guaranteed my success each week, and that is goals. Now, goals are something where most people, not just in the sales industry, but any industry, they don't actually set. And because they don't set them, they don't achieve the great things you can achieve in any field that you're in. So today I'm going to walk you through one system that I use for my weekly goals. And I guarantee that if any salesperson's listening, you implement this stuff now, especially on a Sunday, which is a great time to do it. Therefore, you're ready for the rest of the week and you know what you're working towards. So with goals, you want to make sure the first thing you do each week is set yourself a target. Now I'm going to go just roughly here. Number one is going to be 20 sales in 1 week. Now let's say, just for today's purposes and my maths as well, that you're making $200 per sale. So if you're doing $200 per sale, you're going to make $4,000. Now that's fantastic. If you have your goals set, the next key thing you need to do is you need to have emotional, compelling reasons why. So number 3 is going to be the emotional, compelling reasons why. Now, the reason why you need to have emotional, compelling reasons, because the emotion that's attached to the goal is going to be the thing that drives you to actually achieving it. If you set yourself a goal that means nothing to you, you're not going to have that sense of drive to do it every single day. Now, there's a great story and someone that I listen to a lot called Ed Mylett. So Ed Mylett, he built a company, I think for like $400 million. And he said this story once where he went to the doctors for a heart scan and he had the whole scan done, went away for lunch, had a burrito, came back, and the doctor says, "Hey, Ed, do you have any kids?" He's like, "Yeah, of course, I've got a few kids, got a daughter as well." It's like, "Cool, would you want to be there when your daughter gets married?" And he's like, "Well, of course." He's just like, "Would you be happy for some other man to walk your daughter down the aisle?" Now at that point, Ed was like, "Doctor, what the hell's on this scan?" He goes, "Ed, look, what I need to tell you is that if you carry on living the way you're living, you might not be that person who's walking your daughter down the aisle." And ever since that day, he said every single day he's gone to the gym and worked out every single morning. He's a fitness fanatic, and in the days that he wakes up, and he doesn't want to go, or he doesn't feel like going anywhere, or going to the gym, the hard days that it takes, he inside his mind, he's like, if I don't get up and go today, I might not walk my daughter down the aisle. He's forced himself to believe that way, and it's the one thing that keeps him getting up every single day and going to the gym. Now, as an example today, the few things that I've done in my career might be the feeling of success. Myself, I'm very success driven, and I like the feeling of success. I like the feeling of knowing that I've achieved a good goal, I've set a target, I've achieved it, and I feel successful in that. Another one could be a sense of pride. It's important to have pride in yourself as a salesperson and be proud of what you do. And if smashing goals, smashing targets make you feel proud, then that's something that you've got to aim towards. Now, the next key thing, guys, I'm going to walk you through over here is going to be actions. Now, in my sales career, there's one thing people do not do correctly is they don't actually identify what actions they need to do in order to achieve their goal. Because if your goal is 20 sales in a week, it's the actions you're going to do and the things you will do when you're speaking to customers on a face-to-face, over-the-phone basis. Now, one as an example today, guys, I'm going to put down would be to be positive and optimistic. Why that's important is the amount of situations you'll have when you're dealing with a customer and they might say something negative, or they might say something that most salespeople will interpret as a negative thing. I don't want to give my credit card. I don't want to sign up today. I don't want to buy it today. It's too expensive, And a great salesperson will see the positive and see the solution and remain optimistic even when they're facing all these difficult questions. And by doing so, it's the only way you can overcome those actual objections and questions and I suppose tricky situations you'll get into. Now, not just that, we all know in sales that failure, rejection is a big part of our industry. And you've got to remain positive. You have to remain enthusiastic. If you're not positive and enthusiastic and optimistic every single day that today is going to be a good day, this hour is going to be a good hour, then you can't guarantee the same amount of success as someone that does. I know it's cheesy, everyone always says, remain positive, but I'm telling you now, being in the sales game for 5 years, making over 6 figures, that's one of the most important things. Now the next one could be, excuse my spelling guys, my spelling's not the best, is certainty. Now, certainty is something where you have to be certain in your product, your service, and your company. If I'm going out speaking to customers, me obviously going out door to door and business to business that way, and even over the phone, I need to make sure that I explain my product in the most certain way I possibly can. My tone of voice, my conviction behind it. The reason why is, how can you expect someone else to buy your product if you're not certain on it? You need to 100% be certain that it's the best thing in the market, because if you do, the customer's going to look at you and be like, this man or this woman in front of me, I tell you what, they seem 100% certain that this product is the best thing in the market. And that is influence. So remember that, it's a very key important thing. Be certain on what you're saying, make sure that people know you're certain, and I guarantee you the influence you'll have over others will be dramatically increased. Now the next one of my favorites, this could be getting someone, we'll put getting someone to say yes. The key word yes. Does that make sense? Do you understand? Wouldn't it? Couldn't it? Shouldn't it? Isn't it? All these tie down questions that you can use to ensure the customer is going to say yes. By doing so, if they say yes 5, 6, 7, 8 times throughout the process of your conversation with them, how much easier is it going to be for them to say yes when you ask them, would you like to purchase this today as well? Or can we pop your name down to support whatever it is you're doing? Or can we pop your name down to purchase this product or service today? I guarantee you, it sounds a little bit weird when you hear it, but it's a very old ancient technique that's being used. And I guarantee you, if you get people to saying yes immediately, quickly, frequently, at the end of the conversation, you'll find it easier to get the yes as well. Now the next one, guys, really important one, could be qualifying. Now remember, these things here are making sure we do 20 sales in 5, 6, 7 days, whatever it is you're going to do. Really important, getting enough sleep, or making sure you have breakfast in the morning, or making sure you do that. Those are the things that don't get people to say yes. Because at the end of the day, there's no excuses not to make someone say yes. You could have the worst morning in the world, or the worst evening, or whatever, worst phone call, but when you're with someone, you do these actions and they get results. It's as simple as that. Now, qualifying is a really important thing, and an easy way to increase your sales, spend more time with qualified buyers. Now, in sales, I watch people all the time trying to sell to someone who's not interested or who actually can't afford the product for whatever reason it is. There's not many people who can't sometimes, depending on what package you're selling, but you need to identify, is this person actually going to buy? Or do they have a condition that stops them from purchasing? As an example, let's say I'm trying to sell someone a truck or a lorry, and their garage where they put their cars is only big enough for one motorbike. That doesn't work. That's a condition that we can't overcome. So it's really important that you qualify people, their interests, making sure you're speaking to the decision maker. Like if I'm speaking to someone in a business or a homeowner, or I knock on someone's door and I'm speaking to someone who doesn't make the decisions in the household or in the business, you're wasting valuable time. So ensure that in the first part of the introduction or the first part of the sales process, you're qualifying the customer's needs and wants to make sure that you're not selling to someone who isn't going to buy. And I guarantee you, if you cut off the conversation, and you should always be the person that leaves conversations and leave the sales. I never want any customer to be the person that says they can't do something. I want to make sure that if I'm losing the sale, it's on my terms, not theirs. It's going to maintain my attitude and my positive outlook throughout the day. So really make sure, guys, that you're qualifying. And the last one as well, guys, could be, we've got how many? Got 1, 2, 3, 4. Work ethics. Now, I know this is a cheesy one, and being in sales for 5 years, I got a lot of, I wouldn't say abuse, but people's opinions that are quite negative towards how hard I worked. I would go out sometimes on a Saturday when people would be relaxing, partying, drinking, seeing family, seeing friends, seeing movies, and I would go out, I'd start knocking on doors at 9 in the morning, I'd finish at 8 in the evening. And some of those days I made $2,500, $3,000 in one single day. I'd speak to more customers, I'd be more focused, everyone would be home, everyone would be relaxed. It was the best time to do it, but it takes a lot of work ethic to do that. But one thing you have to understand is that in success, whether it's 20 sales a week, being the top performer in your field, there's a price that has to be paid. And if you don't pay the price before, you're not going to get the result. So one thing I would say more than anything towards weekly sales is work your ass off every minute of the day, every hour of the day, every evening, every morning. Make sure you're working harder than your competition so you dominate them and you don't lose to them. Thank you for listening, guys. Have a nice day, and make sure you implement this. Really simple. Number 1, the sales target. Number 3, 3 emotional reasons why. And 5 is 5 action points towards achieving your goal. Now, one quick thing I'm going to say is that, as an example, if it's Wednesday, it's Thursday, and you haven't achieved your target, or you're really far behind, don't change the target. Never change the target. Or if you do, it's basically telling yourself that targets, goals aren't important. And when you set another one in the future, you're going to know in the back of your mind that, yeah, I can change this if I don't get towards it. Instead, increase your actions and the activities, because these are the things you can control. You can control your actions, you can control your sales activities. And you might need to 10x whatever you're doing, to ensure that you achieve that goal. So be wary, make sure the things you're writing in the actions really do help you get the results, and make sure that you have that emotional 3 emotional compelling reasons why it's important to you, not money, all those things, like why it's really important to you, and have your goal as well. And once you finished it, if you hit your target, make sure you pat yourself on the back and just say, well done, I've done something that I said I was going to do. If you don't achieve your goal, find out why, debrief the situation at the end of the week, analyze what you did wrong, what you can do right next week, and move forward with that positive mentality, because I guarantee you over time, you will keep crushing these goals, and sooner or later, someone will come up to you or call you and ask, hey, I've heard how good you're doing in the country right now. Can I please have some advice? Your phone will start ringing when you get good at this sort of stuff. Guys, thanks for listening. Have a blessed day.